Hello and welcome to my review of the biggest animated movie event of all time, Toy Story 3, starring Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. Finally, it came. The plot of Toy Story 3 takes place about 10 years later and from Toy Story 2, and the toys are just sitting in this chest waiting for Andy to play with them. But since Andy's about to go to college, that's probably not going to happen. So through a mishap of donations, garbage, and addicts, they find themselves at a daycare center. And all the toys find themselves at a daycare center. And originally, they think it's going to be like a great retirement home-like situation. But eventually find out it is a dark and depressing place meant for sad, retired, and neglected toys. And the rest of the movie is kind of like an Escape from Alcatraz spoof, as these toys stage an elaborate heist to get out of the daycare center. And one of the main themes running through this is a character arc of Woody, played by Tom Hanks, finally realizing that Andy isn't going to be around to play with him forever. Let me just start this out by saying that this was a fantastic movie. It was excellent all around. There's very little wrong with it. It really was a spectacular sequel. First great thing about this movie that I want to say is that it's really dark. When you look at the trailer, you think it's going to be a really happy movie. It has a lot of stuff in there. It's a really funny movie, but it balances all that funny stuff with a great amount of darkness and character development. It goes in a very interesting direction that you wouldn't expect normally from an animated movie, but this is Pixar. And Pixar had a freaking miscarriage in their last movie, so it's obvious that they know their audience isn't dumb. So I really appreciated the dark directions this movie went in. Secondly, the voice acting by the entire cast, like Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Michael Keaton, whatnot, they're all great. There's not a single detrimental cast member here. They all give their all, and each person feels entirely welcome, and they're just very comfortable in the roles now. It's great to hear those voices coming out of the mouths again. You may be wondering if the replacement for Jim Varney as Slinky is a little awkward. It's not. It fits right in. The movie is also extremely creative in its comedic situations. I don't really want to give anything away, but let's just say the heist goes in directions you would never expect, and all these crazy things happen. It really becomes very unpredictable as to what's going to happen next. I found myself very engrossed in this movie for a movie about hunks of plastic. Also, the movie's ending hits exactly the right notes and is very, very touching. You'll be sitting there with just a giant, gratified smile on your face by the end of this film. The last scene is just really, really emotionally satisfying. And also, there's a great scene right before that I don't really want to spoil, but let's just say it's the tip top of the danger element in the film. And it's done with no dialogue. It's a really emotional scene as well. And I thought they did that really well. And that had me more emotionally invested than maybe even the ending. Because it's hard to give it away because it's very close to the end. But the commenters will probably spoil it. So you know what scene I'm talking about. But that was very emotionally unsettling as well. And it was a very well done scene. I have to say, especially for a third film, this movie wrapped up the series very well. And it's shocking that after 11 years, these characters are still just as endearing as they were before. Now, was there any bad in this movie? There's a little tiny sprinkle on top of the cupcake that's a little tiny bit rotten. Wait, what? What I mean is that there are a few tiny little things that hurt my experience, but there's actually nothing wrong with the film itself, but there are a few things wrong with my experience. The first thing was, and this is the most problematic thing, I was not a fan of the short before the movie. It was called Day and Night. It was creative, but it went on for far too long. I thought 2 minutes of that could have been just enough. But it got really annoying. It had a cool concept, but it just overstayed its welcome. I'm like, there's a Toy Story movie in here somewhere, right? But that's probably because I'm not a fan of Pixar's dialogue-free exploits besides the beginning of Up. Oh, Wally, for one day I will slam you for the whole world to see. And also, this is nothing wrong with the movie, but it's just a little problem I had in the theater. I went at the 12:20 matinee showing. I might as well have gone just during the parent movie morning when they brought all the freaking babies, because there were babies having freaking heart attacks in the middle of this theater. Anytime the movies would get dark, a choir of babies would just start going, yeah! And the moms kept having to take them in and out of the theater. I would be angry, but all I was thinking was, wow, 11 years ago, that was me. Yes, I was an annoying little chap. And also, one last thing. The 3D is not horrible. In fact, it's better than most movies that are converted to 3D. But it's unnecessary, and I wish they wouldn't have done it. Overall, Toy Story 3 is a solid, emotionally satisfying, very funny, and just fun all-around movie that I think you're really going to enjoy in the next week. I really hope everyone goes to see this. This is one of those films that I mentioned in the beginning, but it's not just a movie, it's an event. It's like a new Indiana Jones. It's like a new Batman. Toy Story films do not come around very often. And when they do come around, it's really something special. So definitely go out and see this movie. This is really a movie that's worth seeing. And it's one of the first summer movies that I can honestly say delivered on all of its promises. You know what? Between a three-way combination of me going on vacation, nostalgia, and the movie just being excellent, I'm going to go ahead, and this is not necessarily my favorite movie of the year. And don't, in the top 10 of the year, when I don't put this at number 1 possibly, get all angry at me and say, oh, you did this and this. But you know what? This was a near perfect film. And for that, I'm going to give it, for the first time this year, a perfect score of 4 stars out of 4.